Well guys, sometimes bigger, badder, and shinier doesn't always mean better. So Mario Kart 8 Deluxe just came out on the Nintendo Switch, and this was one of my more anticipated games so far in this first half of the year, because not only did I want something new to play on the Switch, but I was really curious at how the Switch was going to implement some of these classic Mario franchises. Now, although I did not own every single Nintendo system growing up, I actually missed out on the two best ones, the NES and the SNES, I was always a fan of the Mario Kart franchise. I did play it with my cousin, I did play it with friends, and I did own the Nintendo 64 version. So I do have a lot of nostalgia love for the Mario Kart franchise, and I was hoping to get a lot of that from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Now, starting off with the positives of this game, it does look really good. This is the first generation that Nintendo's utilizing HD, and they're utilizing it well so far. The game is beautiful, the tracks, everything comes to life great. You do have a great selection of characters, all the way from the classic Mario characters like Mario, Luigi, and Bowser, all the way to some newer Nintendo franchises like Splatoon, so you have tons of variety there, tons of vehicle customization to keep you moving if you like that kind of thing. And there is quite a huge selection of not only new maps, but classic maps going all the way back to the Super Nintendo days, and I love that nostalgia feel of it. I love picking a track that I knew and loved from previous generations, and even though it's cleaned up a lot more and looks a lot different as far as the shine and the HD quality, it still does have that classic feel to it. The controls of the Nintendo Switch work really well in this game. You can even pick up these neat little steering wheel attachments, two of them for like $15, so not that much. They make the trigger buttons a lot bigger, and it makes it a lot more dynamic when you're playing the motion control sides of these things. And above anything else, there's always going to be some appeal to having your friends and family come over and playing Mario Kart. There's just something about Mario Kart that is never going to be replicated. No matter if PlayStation or Xbox or anybody else tries to do their own version of kart racing, Mario Kart is the standard, and it will always be the standard. Now, with all that being said, I'm going to be totally honest with you guys. I've had this game for 27 hours. I'm already bored with it. First problem for me, which may not be a problem for that many people, this game does not have that classic feel to it like the SNES or the Nintendo 64. It seems like all the shine, all the anti-gravity effects, all of the parachutes, everything that they keep adding to the gameplay to make it new and inventive is not really adding to the gameplay for me. For some reason, I really long for that classic Mario Kart, the classic 2D look to it, the classic tracks. If you stuck an SNES or an N64 right next to my Switch with the Mario Kart already loaded in, I'm much more inclined to play those than I am to turn on my Switch and play Mario Kart 8. Aside from that, there's just not enough gameplay elements to keep you coming back with this unless you are just constantly having friends and family come over. You can either race a Grand Prix, or you can do a battle with the balloons and the bob-omb modes, and after a while, that just gets so repetitive, guys. You will go through 4 rounds in 15 minutes, and it will feel like you've been playing for an hour and a half sometimes. And the one negative that I have with the controls is that the motion control aspects of this, when you're actually turning the wheel instead of using the stick, it just doesn't work well. That's the one thing about the Nintendo Switch that is just not working well for me, is the motion controls. I had issues with it in Zelda, having the same issues with Mario Kart 8, and it's so hard to hold your controller straight if you want to use the analog stick, because if you tilt your controller even the slightest, it's going to fight whatever you're trying to do with the analog stick, and that is so aggravating after a while. Aside from that, I just don't feel like there's enough reward to keep playing this game. It's like something I'm just going to keep on my shelf until I have family or friends over, and that's not worth a $60 price tag. And I know people from Nintendo, if you're a hardcore Nintendo fan, you're going to shoot me for saying this, but this is why Nintendo needs to have some form of trophies or achievements. And I kind of felt the same way about Legend of Zelda. I don't feel like I'm being rewarded for my gameplay. If I keep playing Grand Prix and I keep whooping ass and getting first places and second places and I'm just owning every single cup, every single track, I don't feel like I'm gaining anything. You can unlock some coins and some points and unlock new vehicle customization options, but that doesn't really give me enough of a reason to come back just because my tires will look a little bit different whenever I play this time. That's nothing really new. And this really makes me worried for the further games coming out on the Nintendo Switch and whether or not I was wise with investing in this console, because the classic appeal of those old Mario franchises like Mario Party, Super Mario World, and Mario Kart, I don't know if they're going to be utilized as well in this new HD world. Maybe that's what kept Nintendo from going HD for so long, is because they knew it's not going to add anything to their gameplay. Certainly doesn't add anything to Mario Kart 8, and it makes me worried for Super Mario Odyssey or anything else they're going to come out with, because you have to add something new to it. This feels like a port of an older, better game, and I just don't really have that much reason to go back and keep playing it. So to wrap all this up, guys, Super Mario 8 Deluxe Edition is still a fun game. It's still worth buying whenever it goes on sale, not $60, just for the fact of having something that you can play and have a blast with when you have some friends or some family over, because there is still that classic appeal of gameplay couch multiplayer that a lot of new console generations are kind of losing quickly. Nintendo's still holding on to that. It still looks good. It still feels good if you're not doing the motion controls. And there is still an appeal to playing these old classic franchises, but the classic games are way better than the new games, and that's an issue. They need to fix it, they need to add something new, and they need to give me a reason to keep playing, even if it's with some people or if it's by myself. I just don't feel that much reward when I'm playing this. So even though I would strongly advise you to wait for a sale before you purchase this game, there's enough classic elements here to weigh out somewhat the major flaws of this game. So you're going to have some fun with it, you're going to want to play a lot of multiplayer, so you're going to go out and tell a friend to pick it up. So what did you guys think of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Edition? Do you feel like this game is improving as the years go on with all these new advancements and new attachments and new little elements of the gameplay that they keep putting on, like the parachutes? Or do you feel like you just want to play the classic games on a digital download, like the SNES version or the N64 version? Put all your thoughts on Mario Kart 8 down in the comment section below and we'll talk about it. Please like and share this video and hit that subscribe button, that way you get to come back and see me next time. If that's not soon enough to check out some more of my videos, you can check out a few more by clicking right over here.